Hi. So I just got done watching The Gentleman, and now I know this is supposed to be about what I read, but I think we can excuse it. We're moving along and evolving as we go on. So I think a little bit of not YouTube, but movie reviews is warranted. I will talk about what I've read because I've read a fair bit. The most important bit of the book for me, I'm fairly done with, but I'll get to that in a bit. First, we start with the movie. This time, I did something interesting. So, I kept my media journal with me and I wrote my thoughts along as I went, and only just after finishing it did I consolidate those thoughts. And I got two nice quotes as well, which is cool. So, for me, the rating 5 out of 5, fucking brilliant. This movie has been bullying my YouTube Shorts algorithm for so long. For years, there was a lull. Sometime there's just a little bit of a lull, but it's picked up again. And every time I open my YouTube Shorts, which is very rare, and I'm actively trying to not scroll, but whenever I do, it would be there. And I've watched bits and pieces of it. Those interesting bits. I'm sure you all know which one I'm talking about. Good. I've always interested, this seems fun, but never something enough that I would say, yeah, I should watch this. And today, I didn't have a gym. I didn't have to go to the gym. So I thought, you know what, fuck it, let's watch it. And I did. My first thought was, I never knew Matthew McConaughey was in it. Of all the multiple shorts I've seen, I never saw Matthew McConaughey in them. So it was a very big surprise when the movie opened up and it was him walking into the restaurant, the pub. He sat down, got pickled eggs to eat, which is weird. He sat down and he got shot. That's what you thought. Spoilers alert, by the way. I think I didn't do that before, but it's a movie review. You're probably gonna know it's gonna be spoilers there. So he just died. That's what I thought. I was like, oops. That's literally what I wrote. Oops. I like the intro credit song, and I made a note to myself that I have to check it out in a bit, so I will. The movie is still up on the telly, by the way. I just literally got done watching it, and I thought I should record as raw as an opinion as I possibly can. So yeah, I really liked the intro credit song, which I will give it a go. And Hugh Grant, the whole character of Fletcher, was sick. Fucking fantastic. Again, I didn't know Hugh Grant was in this movie. Glad I didn't know him because fucking sick. He described Mickey Pearson as a golden age proper handsome cunt, and I agree. Really, yeah, brilliant. I really liked the storytelling in the movie. The way they just went through everything was fantastic. It was so good. Also, License to Kill, which is a wordplay on license and rice, to describe a Chinese James Bond, aka Dry Eyes. It's crazy. I saw him for the 2 minutes that we see him in the beginning, and I was in love. Yo, this character is fucking brilliant. Of course, he turns out to be a piece of shit, but what can you do? Mickey's wife, I'm blanking on her name for some reason, but she had a riced out M3 with an air suspension and those turbo bushing sounds. Oh, so good. I wish we saw more of that car, to be honest. But I guess you can only get so much in, an hour and 53 minutes. So yeah. Raymond Smith, he probably is one of the main characters, the top two, I guess. He's the right-hand man or the concierge for Mickey. He says, no good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes that's how life feels like. That no good deed goes unpunished. You should probably think about that more, but later. Dry Eye. In one of his last moments where he is threatening Mickey and his wife, while Mickey is being threatened somewhere else and his wife somewhere else. He is wearing cheetah print loafers. That is something so odd and something so cool. I could never catch myself wearing that, but that's so fucking cool. So fucking cool. And at the end, or in the beginning as well, this is the quote the movie starts off with, is If you wish to be the king of the jungle, it's not enough to act like a king. You must be the king. And there can be no doubt, because doubt causes chaos and one's own demise. And I think that's just so true. That resonated with me a bit more than I thought it would ever do. Especially when I heard it the first time. I was like, oh, that's a cool quote. I should write it down for my commonplace notebook. I was like, no, I'm not supposed to write everything down. I'm supposed to write down stuff that resonated with me. And throughout this quote was really just drawn hard into my mind that, yeah, you have to be certain. You don't have to just act like one, you have to be one. Because at many moments in the movie, I caught myself thinking, if I was in the position of Mickey, I wouldn't be doing this. I would be doing something else. And clearly, that's because of a reason. I'm not Mickey, But still, that made me, think about how you go about in your day, I guess. A really nice quote. Now on to the review of my own thoughts. I really enjoyed the movie. Yeah, definitely in my top 10 or maybe my top 5. It really had such a satisfying way of conveying the story. It was so good. It was so grippy and I did not feel like doing anything else. I am one of those people, my attention span might be cooked, but it's not that bad that I can't go through a movie without being on my phone all the time. So it was definitely not that. But I would, even if I had my phone with me, which I didn't, I intentionally kept it away, but I had my books with me. I was never for a second, my mind went, oh, maybe, I could check my messages or do something. No, there's no thought of multitasking because I wanted all of my neurons, as little as there are, admittedly, to be focused on the movie. That's how good it was, and that's so fun. All the characters were wonderful for their own reasons, so good. I loved Hugh Grant especially, his low-key but in-your-face zestiness, just on the cheek. I'll sleep with, Raymond at one point said, I'm going to sleep, get out of my house. He's like, can I come with you? And then he said no. And he's like, well, I'll come anyway, you'll find me wanking into a handkerchief. That's crazy, fucking brilliant. Very cool movie. That's what I should say. People and events that transpired throughout this movie, they were tied to this one overarching thread in a very satisfying way, and it was done so well. Nothing really felt like it didn't lead to something. All the events that occurred, they all felt like they had a reason to be there, and they all came back full circle in the end, or near to the end. Or somewhere along the way, they all came to a close, which is very cool. And yeah, I wish it was a very satisfying conclusion, really. And I wish that there were a sequel. Not because this movie did anything wrong or there was anything left on the table that a sequel would pick up and clear up. Because I just want more of this. I just want more of these characters, more of this world, more of this storytelling, more of this art direction. Big props to Guy Ritchie, man. That was good. Really good. And that's a very rare feeling. Such a rare and nice feeling to want something. Not because it left something or it's lacking something, but because it leaves you wanting more. And it just wants you wanting more. So that's good. That's probably where the movie section of the review ends. That's 8 minutes, 9 minutes actually, so probably cut some bit. But that leaves me just enough time to talk about Fellowship of the Ring. Well, I should hold it correctly, about the Fellowship of the Ring. I have gotten to chapter 7 in the House of Tom Bombadil. This section, this chapter and the chapter before it, what was it? In the Old Forest. The Old Forest, yeah. I closed the book without my book marker. But that's good. I was just at the beginning of chapter 7, so nothing's lost. But this section is what burnt me out, essentially, from reading this book when I first started. Because it is so heavy on descriptions and so heavy on just describing the surroundings and the environment and the feelings. And that's the joy, because it's so detailed, so descriptive, but to me, I just got burnt out. And I was concerned that this time the same thing would happen again. and I'm glad to say that it hasn't. I've just got into chapter 7 this morning, and then I watched the movie, so I think I'll probably get around to reading more in a bit. Just do some work, read, do some work, read. That's probably the groove I've settled in. I found myself to have settled in, and it's really cool. It's really fun. I really like doing that. But yeah, those are my thoughts. And that's it. So yeah, bye bye.